This morning, we shine our spotlight on a man whose voice is as recognizable as his face. The man himself, the icon, Patrick Doyle. For decades, he's graced our screens with, I tell you, so much. With gravitas, with width and rare depth, embodying characters that have become part of Nigeria's cultural tapestry. But beyond the acting is a broadcaster whose command of the airwaves helped shape a generation of listeners. He's a creative, a pioneer, a family man, and more recently the subject of headlines that prove age indeed is just a number. This morning he's here in the studio with us. He's warm and wise and still very much a man in motion. Mr. Patrick Doyle, as always, welcome so much to the program.
With that intro,
all of that for you. All of that for you. You deserve it. I will tell you something very interesting, and like I said from before we started, every veteran, actually, Judith, every veteran starts up from radio, and Mr. Patrick Doyle is no different.
Yeah.
And it'll interest you to know that we have our origins from radio as well.
Yes, that's the
so we're not already becoming veterans ourselves.
Yes, of course.
Some of us faster than the others, in terms of age.
You're welcome to the program, sir. I must say that you're a man who have lived many lives, many professional lives.
Indeed.
And one has to ask, which one was the most celebratory for you, and which one is still becoming for you?
Anytime I'm asked and I have a form and says profession or occupation, I write broadcaster. So that is what I am. That defines me.
Right. And what journey are you embarking on that is becoming for you? Because you're a man of many lives, right? Many emotions, and it never ends.
I have tried to push this notion that broadcaster, communication, media is wide, and you can find expression as a techie. In that spectrum, you can find expression as an artist, an actor. So I'm just saying. So I actually would like to explore every area of communication. Except for one area where I am sadly lacking is in the tech side. If I had understood the tech side better, I might have felt more fulfilled.
Yeah, don't worry.
It's time.
Yeah, so you're born in that era where I find myself lacking now, because I mean these young guys are doing crazy stuff. But that said, sir, I remember Friday Night Live with Patrick Doyle.
That's right.
So much has happened since then up until now when it comes to how our broadcasting terrain has evolved. From before, you used to need permission to actually express. You needed permission to be on the NTA, you needed permission to be on this platform or that platform. But these days we see young people with no permission.
Podcasters.
All they need is exactly. And many people will argue that this is an erosion of the profession of broadcasting.
It's not. You see, that's why they gave it their own name. They call it podcasting.
So you don't regard this as broadcasting?
No, they are, in the sense that they're disseminating it widely. But that's where it ends, because they don't have any rule book. Maybe they will evolve a rule book as time goes on, because life evolves. I'm sure at one time broadcasting was probably the broadcasters of old were the people who had the gong and the thing that go to the town square, the town choirs. They were the broadcasters of one time.
Yes.
And things evolved to where it met us, where we did what we did on radio and television. And now it's a new world, so things evolve. So, out with the old, in with the new. So it's now we, broadcasters, trained broadcasters, who need to reorientate our minds, because we have captured the audience. And what's a broadcaster if he cannot interface with the audience? And these people have hijacked the audience. So it's up to us to adapt and to adapt to the new paradigm and get on with the job of informing people properly and ethically.
But with that comes the gatekeepers, right? And by the gatekeepers, I mean that regulatory board, the censorship board, the NBC or whichever, but most importantly also the managers who are the ML affairs of whatever media house or broadcasting house. One thing about the podcasters and the new guys,
they don't fall under any.
They don't fall under, so they don't have any directorial
but it's been evolved.
Right.
I know that there have been attempts by regulatory authorities to rein them in, but it's a difficult thing because I'm not sure that there's anywhere in the world where they've succeeded in reining in this new monster called the internet,
right? So
and social media.
Yeah. So my question is, because you're saying that it's left to us, the media itself, to capture the audience back. How do we then do that? Do you think that the watchdogs or the regulatory bodies or the gatekeepers need to be flexible as well and move with the tides? Because one thing I find is that these individuals are not ready to dance, play ball.
When you're talking about Nigerian gatekeepers, are a unique set of gatekeepers.
Yeah.
They're not in it for the essence of the whatever it is that they've been told to regulate. They're in it to, how do I describe them? They're just people who want to occupy office and make their presence felt. In the course of this program, I might say something, and immediately somebody from NBC will call somebody to call somebody to send you a letter to give a fine. And maybe if you want to negotiate the fine and something. So what I have seen is that Nigerian regulators are in it for themselves, and they're open to negotiation. So they throw the book at you. And then,
so it's a money-making venture.
No, not more than that, but it's much more than money. It's also power. Come and beg me. So that then your proprietor will go and talk to the minister. So the minister will call him. Then he will feel important. Say, okay, sir, because of you, I'm doing it. Okay, we will withdraw the fine. So it's more than money. It's.
Mr. Doyle, let's talk about another art of which you're so passionate and which we enjoyed growing up. Let's talk about you as an actor. Now, it's very interesting to see the landscape of acting, and Nollywood generally right now. It's been infused with so many new things, so many new people. People are expressing themselves in so many different forms. You also find an invasion of sorts of a different kind of actors into the Puritan Nollywood system.
Puritan?
Into the Puritan Nollywood system. So I'm wondering how this makes you feel. Do you believe that TikTokers, that content creators have any place inside of that Puritan system? Do you think that it's eroding the art of being an actor? I think Kanayo had a complaint regarding this one about 3 years ago. What's your take?
And then he became a content creator himself.
I'm lawyer.
I welcome them. I welcome them.
Do you think there's any difference between their art and the art?
There's a difference, but at the end of the day, the audience determines if you. There's nothing you want to do if you don't have an audience. If you're not resonating with the audience, these guys are resonating with an audience. The audience.
This argument about the audience dictates what should be. I think that, don't you think that it is leaving too much on the table? Because, hear me out, your sets push the boundaries of what was possible in spite of technology, in spite of a depth of technology. Your set pushed what was possible. You did stage performance, interactive stage performances. There was stage play. There was so much of the arts that we saw, and that way it educated a generation that appreciated art and informed what we now have as Afrobeats and the likes. But those audiences did not know it, right, until you presented them to them.
Every generation has the concept of the zeitgeist, the ruling spirit. The ruling spirit right now has no regard for what you have said. You are the last generation to experience that structure. Now the world is borderless. I can sit in a room in Alaska and be addressing a purely Nigerian audience in Itafaji. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's borderless. So rules have been thrown out. When it is now left to this generation to begin to evolve a set of rules. You know, you remember there was a time in America where they had the Wild Wild West, where it was the rule of the gunslingers and everything. But the society evolved and found a way to
start to sell those gun regulated.
Order society. So right now, the digital society is in a wild, wild west period. But as we go along, we will find a way. For instance, the president of France is suing Candace Owens for saying that his wife is a man. What I'm going to say, that they have internationalized the issue now. Candace Owens is sitting,
the issue.
Globalize it. Candace Owens is sitting somewhere in the United States and she's making
aspersions on the first lady of France.
Of France, the first couple of France have decided to go to court. So I'm just saying, as we go along, things will tune themselves. So some of these things are a work in progress. I don't think we should be too alarmed.
As the Bible could say, the world without end.
Okay, you got it.
A world without end.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, right, as we're talking about, the new age of acting and actors, I also am intrigued by, acting for you. Did you take a pause? Did you go on hiatus? Or is this something that you just did?
You see, because that's why I tell you, anytime I'm asked what my profession is, I put broadcaster.
Because it's broad.
No, because that is my profession.
Yeah.
And that is my foundation.
So you took a
acting, and I don't think it would be right for me to call myself an actor. That's why I will call myself a broadcaster. No, even broadcasters perform. So, but I'm just saying, the reason why is simple. Acting is a vocation, is a profession, is an occupation. Some people, it has a cause of study. Some people go to school and become masters of that craft. So you cannot tell a gate-crashing broadcaster like me, cannot describe myself as an actor. I'm a broadcaster who can act. The same way that you're a driver, you drive very well, but you're not a chauffeur. You understand what I'm saying? So I act. I'm not, you know what I mean? I act, but I'm not I cannot with full chest call myself an actor. But having said that, my entry into acting was very providential, if you like. Back in the day, I used to do continuity announcements on television for NTA. Those days, the television actually had continuity announcements.
Yes.
So
now you have to be on screen.
No, we used to be on screen. At intervals, we come on screen and we'll give you the program highlights at the end of one program.
4 p.m.
Then even at some...
At the end of the program,
you come back and you back announce it. And so I'm just saying, there I was doing that duty. And in those days, television started at about 4 or 5 p.m.
4 p.m.
But you have to come to the station earlier than that to prepare your scripts and all of that.
Pre-production.
So, my cousin, who used to be a drama producer in NTA, his name is Roland Henshaw. And we didn't exactly have an office, so I used to hang out in his office. But oftentimes in his office, we're doing rehearsals for plays and we're reading and all of that. So one fine day, I just said, Roland, make myself act now. And he gave me a script. We did all those rehearsals and stuff. And that was when I started acting. So some people become actors by assimilation and by... So I had an apprenticeship under a good number of people. I will say this for free. At the time, he was my best friend, Ladi Baku. He used to produce dramas, directed drama. Remember the drama called Spax? And even was The Second Chance.
Yes, I remember.
All those ones. So he used to direct those things. So, and because we were very good friends, he used to ask me to come. And sometimes when he's working, when he's directing, I'm there and I'm looking at the stuff and I'm hearing him say, no, don't do it like that. So how do I say it? I was a sponge. I just absorbed it in, and so that's my acting entree.
Now, since this focus is on you being a broadcaster, you've seen different generations of this art. You've seen it from when it was like the NTA and when radio was, you were on
Voice of Nigeria. Alongside John Momo,
all the veterans.
All the veterans.
Now, I'm wondering how you feel when you take a look at what it used to be like and the regard that people used to have for especially radio and what it is now, where it seems like it's a free-for-all, everybody come eat. However, there seems to be no reward from it. There seems to be an erosion of that regard for people who are radio performers. And even when you look at traditional television in Nigeria, it's the same thing because of the infrastructure.
But you live stream, people live stream the studios now.
Yes.
The radio studios. So I mean, there's a convergence of all these things. But the truth of the matter is, we're dinosaurs, and very soon we will become extinct.
I'm not a dinosaur.
Whether you like it,
I'm Gaia, the Greek god of life.
You better be a phoenix. You better be a phoenix, because this thing that we're talking about will die. Linear broadcasting is practically dead. It's on it. The only TV stations that thrive are news stations, because of the 24-hour news cycle. But then again, you are probably on. You're not terrestrial. You're not on a terrestrial.
You're digital.
You're digital. So only news stations can survive as television, because streaming has taken over. So the word broadcaster is soon going to become broadcaster in the corporate sense. Like this establishment is a broadcasting organization. That term is going to be extinct very soon, and you'll become a streamer. You'll become news streamers, not a news broadcasting station. You understand? Much the same way that even DSTV is becoming what's that? The
on demand.
No, the on demand, the Showtime. You understand? Because Netflix came strictly as a streamer. Netflix came strictly as a streamer. It didn't morph from being a TV station to.
Right.
And they have taken the streaming platform. They rule there. So everybody's going to. So let's just get prepared.
To piggyback off Mazino's question, and from our queue, I think that this is going to be the last question. But what Mazino was trying to raise earlier was about the sound of what we're hearing in terms of television and radio, and the fact that, or that the fear that it's a free-for-all, but most importantly is the lack of training that happens before.
It's appalling.
It's exactly. I think that's what Mazino was trying to point out.
It is appalling.
And I think maybe this is what we have to dwell on and discuss on the fact that people are jumping those rounds of whether, and it's all over the arts, whether it's in literature.
Doesn't that tell you something about the proprietors of the stations?
Actors.
The proprietors of the station, I am sure, and many of them who own these stations are not children. They're not young. They saw the golden era of broadcasting. They sought to piggyback on that golden era and set up TV stations, radio stations. However, the urge for the quick buck. These people talk too much English. Let's get somebody to talk pidgin English. They say when I chopulate the thing, then you get some character pretending to speak English with a fake American accent because it resonates with the people in Mushin who are aspiring to,
but isn't that how? No, because capitalism, if you think about it, right? And that's why I said that the audience itself, when we say the audience detecting, we have to have a problem that they detect what should be, because we have to interrogate that. We have to push back against that, because we are the custodians and we know because we educate the nation. If we just give out mediocre,
those people are calling mediocre.
No, I'm not calling anybody mediocre.
Okay, I can call them mediocre. A good 80% of the people on our electronic media are mediocres.
I
said it. But those people you are calling mediocres. But those people I am calling mediocres. Those people are, as far as they are concerned, they are the cat's whisker. They are the cream of the crop. They are disseminating profound truths to their audience. And you cannot convince them otherwise.
And that is scary. That is very scary. Look, I think it is scary. That's the only way I can describe it, because when you think about what was going to happen to our younger generation and what they describe and what they see as excellence,
but
it is concerning.
Can I jump in there? And I hope that I have like 30 seconds to say this. But when you look at how broadcasting has evolved to what it is now, a much more honest form of expression when people without permission can tell what's happening in their locality. VDM is an example. The Honest Bunch is one, where you have these truths being told, and I think that...
Are they truths or personal opinions?
Opinions.
These truths.
These truths, exactly. When they're told, you find that there is a very big audience. So I do understand when you say the broadcast might be dying and streaming is the next big thing, because there is no barrier anymore when it comes to streamers.
All right.
Exactly.
We very quickly we have to switch gears now and turn our eyes to Morocco, where the excitement is absolutely electrifying. All right, I take that back. I do understand that we have to switch gears to South Africa, as we have Bongani Zizibel on standby, a correspondent in South Africa. She's covering a protest there. Bongani, we seem to have lost her. We will try to bring you the live visuals there from that protest happening in South Africa. Let's back into the studio. Our guest today is the iconic, legendary Patrick Doyle. He has said he's a broadcaster, nothing more. No, a broadcaster too.
Well, it's good to have you in here. In any case, now since we're still on that subject of broadcasting, where does Nigeria need to make its adjustments so that we capture the future? And I mean, like we had the NTA, who were custodians of, let's say, custodians of broadcasting. Have we lost that totally? Or is there anybody who can consolidate what we do when it comes to streaming?
You cannot name names,
is there a process or a system where we can consolidate all of this so that it can be regulated, as the Nigerian government is trying to do when it comes to information?
There are two tiers of streaming. There's the corporate streaming.
Yes.
Like your big time streamers and all of that, streaming platforms. Then you have the VDMs of this world who with a smartphone can stream. And
that's what I'm asking about, that regulation.
It is practically impossible to do that. Practically impossible. So we're just going to have to rely on whatever we can do to educate, to make the audience more discerning.
So it's now the audience responsibility.
The responsibility is for trained broadcasters to sensitize the audience so that the audience do not become do not become consumers of fake news and inciting news.
And I fear with the emergence of AI, it can only get worse. Well, our guest is Patrick Doyle, iconic, legendary broadcaster and everything else in between.